In today's video, I'll be flying for 8 hours in Lufthansa First Class on the Boeing 747 between Frankfurt, Germany and Washington Dulles. Hello everyone, my name is Logan Aviation. I have just arrived at Frankfurt Airport Terminal 1, where I will soon be catching a flight on the iconic Queen of the Skies across the Atlantic. I only have around 3 hours left here in Frankfurt, so let's head over to the check-in to get my boarding pass. Now, instead of using the check-in here inside Terminal 1, I'm going to head down to the arrivals level, step outside, then take a 5-minute walk over to a private facility. This is Lufthansa's first class terminal. It's completely separate from the main airport terminals and is exclusive to passengers flying in first class on Lufthansa or Swiss. But it can also be used by Hans Circle members. This facility opened in 2004 and is over 19,000 square feet. Upon entering, I took the elevator up to the second floor, where I was greeted by an agent who guided me over to the check-in counter. After a few quick document checks, I received my boarding pass, featuring 4 letters that immediately let me know that I'll be making some new friends shortly. I was then escorted over to the private security checkpoint. The secondary screening only took a few minutes, and I was through to the lounge. As a welcome gift, I received this cute little rubber duck. It's a tradition that dates back to when the terminal originally opened. The lounge offers a variety of comfortable seating options, ranging from classic armchairs to high-back recliners. There's also private office cubicles if you're working on the go. At the center of the lounge, there is a well-stocked bar offering an extensive selection of wines, spirits, and non-alcoholic options. Next to the bar is a full-service restaurant with a la carte dining. The menu offers a variety of options to choose from, and while the selection was impressive, I decided to save most of my appetite for the flight. I did, however, end up going with the homemade vanilla ice cream, served with berries, fruit coulis, and a light crumble. I finished it off with an espresso. If you're in a bit of a time crunch, the restaurant also has a buffet. Across from the restaurant, you'll find a cigar room, but that's not really my thing. And further down the corridor is where the shower suites are located, as well as 2 quiet rooms with day beds. I reserved one of the shower suites before my flight. There's all kinds of toiletries, towels, and other amenities ready at my disposal. A robe and slippers were also provided, and if you're lucky enough, you might even get assigned the bathtub suite. For the rest of my visit, I decided to sit back and relax until it was time to leave. While there may not be any views of the apron, this was still an amazing place to hang out before my flight. When it was time to board, I was taken downstairs to where a Porsche was arranged to take me over to my aircraft. A perfect way to end off the fantastic ground experience. I also learned that Lufthansa and Porsche recently ended their chauffeur service partnership and are now partnered with Sixt. After a short 2-minute ride, we pulled up right next to the Queen. Today's flight will be operated by this Boeing 747-8. This aircraft was delivered to Lufthansa in March of 2013, and sadly, it will be leaving the fleet later this year because it was sold to the United States Air Force for presidential fleet support. One last look at the Porsche, and I was taken up to the jet bridge to board the aircraft. If you want to know when I upload a new video, feel free to tap the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Lots of exciting new content is on the way. This is Lufthansa's first class cabin. It's located in the nose of the 747, and there's only 8 seats in total. And due to the curvature of the nose, rows 1 and 2 are arranged in a 1-1 configuration, while row 3 is arranged in a 1-2-1. For today's flight, I chose seat 1A, and being this far up in the cabin means I'm actually sitting in front of the pilots. At the center of the cabin, there's a bar where refreshments are available throughout the flight. The moment I sat down, I was greeted by a lovely flight attendant who offered me a glass of champagne along with some macadamia nuts. Before I get settled in, let's take a look around the seat. Although the cabin doesn't offer much in terms of privacy, the seat is still massive and extremely comfortable. In front of me there's a 17-inch IFE screen, and below that you'll find a retractable ottoman that doubles as a storage bin. The seat has 4 windows with motorized window blinds that can be raised and lowered with the push of a button. Along the windows there are 2 smaller storage compartments, one of which contained a pair of noise-canceling headphones. Each seat also has an assigned storage locker at the back of the cabin. Above my left shoulder there is an adjustable reading light, and tucked in the back corner behind the seat is a cup holder. Along the side of the seat there's also a small side table that's perfect for drinks. The remote for the IFB screen is stored in the left armrest, while the seat controls are located on the right side, including options for adjusting the seat and moving the ottoman back and forth. The seat also has a partition that can be raised after takeoff, offering additional privacy. A universal charging station can be found on the left side of the seat, and next to that you'll find a literature pocket. And lastly, every first class seat was finished off with a red rose, complemented by a dedicated light fixture. Now that we've covered the seat, let's get settled in. Just before pushback, the captain came downstairs and introduced himself to each passenger and shared a few details about our flight plan. Today's flight time will be about 8 hours and 23 minutes, covering just over 4,000 miles. Shortly after, the safety video was played, and we began our pushback from the gate. I'll catch up with you again once we're in the air. Now that we're in the air, let's pull out the massive tray table and take a look at the menus for today's flight. The first menu featured a dedicated wine list, ranging from champagne to red and white wines, along with a selection of spirits. The other menu was centered around the food offerings, as well as the soft beverages. The meal service opened with a hot towel and an amuse-bouche, and my choice of beverage was a glass of orange juice. Shortly after, the appetizer trolley was brought over, allowing us to select our starters tableside. I started off with the caviar, served with all the traditional fixings like creme fraiche, finely chopped onions, shaved egg yolks, and egg whites. This was accompanied by toast points. I was also given another glass of champagne to go along with it. Next up was this trio of appetizers, featuring a duet veal of tuna, a grape salmon fillet with yuzu and white asparagus mousse, and marinated German asparagus. To accompany this, I was given a pretzel, as well as some more garlic bread. This also came with a side salad. For my main, I went for the surf and turf, served with polenta, green asparagus, and wild mushrooms. This was cooked beautifully, and it was packed with flavor. And for dessert, I chose the stracciatella black pearl scoop, served with mango, lemon ganache, and coconut. This was followed by a cappuccino served with a side of turbulence. Overall, this was an excellent meal. After all that food, I think it's time to get up and take a walk around the aircraft. Lufthansa's Boeing 747-8 has a total of 364 seats. Behind the first class cabin, you'll find 48 business class seats divided into two sections. The seats are arranged in a 2-2-2 configuration, and in between the business class cabins, you'll find a staircase to the upper deck. Up here, you'll find 32 more business class seats arranged in a much more private 2-2 configuration. Behind the business class cabin on the lower deck is 32 premium economy seats in a 2-4-2. And at the back of the aircraft, there are 244 economy seats arranged in a 3-4-3 configuration. At the back of the first class cabin, you'll find two lavatories, each featuring a window and decorative rose. They're quite spacious and are well stocked with toiletries. On the way back to my seat, I made a stop at the bar, where the crew had placed out a box of chocolate truffles. Now that I'm back in my seat, let's take a look at the amenities for today's flight. The first class amenity kit is made by Porsche Design. Inside, there's a comb, dental kit, socks, sleep mask, shoehorn, and skincare products. I was also given a set of pajamas as well as some slippers. Moving on from the amenities, let's take a look at the IFE. Lufthansa's in-flight entertainment system is pretty outdated. The display lacks touchscreen functionality, and it can only be controlled by the handheld remote, but it still offers a solid selection of movies, TV shows, and even external camera views. The noise-canceling headphones are made by Bose, and they provide excellent sound quality. Lufthansa also offers free Wi-Fi to first-class passengers, and it worked fairly well for the short time I used it. Shortly after, the flight attendant came by and offered to set up the bed. I took her up on the offer, and since there were only 4 people in the first-class cabin, each passenger had an extra seat to use as their bed. The bedding consists of a duvet and pillow, as well as a mattress topper. The bed is 81 inches long and 31 inches wide. It was super comfortable, and the partition offered a lot of additional privacy. However, the lack of individual air nozzles means the cabin temperature can vary at times, making sleep difficult. And on today's flight, the aircraft was pretty warm. After a few hours of sleep, I woke up somewhere over the Gulf of St. Lawrence. With only 2 hours left in the flight, I decided to move back over to my original seat, where it was time for the pre-arrival meal. The service started with a hot towel, followed by another glass of champagne. I chose the mini veal burgers, served with a side of coleslaw as well as some beetroot chips. And to close out the service, I went for some vanilla ice cream with mixed berries, and one last cappuccino. Sadly, the flight was coming to an end, and we began our descent into Washington Dulles. Now let's talk about how I booked today's flight. If I paid with cash, this ticket would have costed me $12,139 US. Instead, I used 140,000 United miles plus $134 in taxes and fees. One thing to keep in mind is Lufthansa releases first-class award space to airline partners roughly 14 days out, and even then it's still very limited. I booked this ticket just 4 days prior to departure, and had a difficult time finding the award space. One excellent tool I use for finding award space is Seats.aero. It's one of my go-to search engines for award travel, allowing you to quickly compare availability across multiple airline loyalty programs and pinpoint the dates that offer the best value for your points and miles. Now, would I recommend Lufthansa First Class? I'd say yes, especially if you can find a good deal. Flying in the nose of the 747 is a unique experience, and it's something I've always wanted to do for a long time. It's not the most private seat, but it's still very comfortable, and the crew was super friendly and the service was fantastic. Now, Lufthansa will soon be retrofitting their entire fleet of 747-8s with the new Allegris cabin, so maybe I'll check out their new business class in the near future. I hope you enjoyed today's video. More aviation content is on the way. With that being said, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.